The red dust of Proxima Centauri swirled around Jun Kim's boots as he walked across the colony's main terraforming site. 5 years of hard work had turned this once dead rock into a place where plants now grew. Jun took pride in that. "Chief Engineer Kim, we have a problem at Water Station 3, called a voice over his radio." Jun sighed and adjusted his helmet. "What is it this time, Ta?" "The pumps are acting up again. 3rd time this week." This wasn't normal. The pumps were built to last decades. Jun headed toward his rover, concern growing with each step. Back at the colony hub, Administrator Hannah Park was dealing with her own problems. The colony's food production numbers were dropping. Again. "These numbers can't be right," Hannah said, looking at the screen. "We were on target last month." Her assistant shook his head. "The soil enrichment systems are failing. The techs can't figure out why." Hannah rubbed her temples. Proxima Colony was Earth's most successful off-world settlement. Over 5,000 people now called it home. If the food systems failed, all those lives would be at risk. A knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Administrator Park, there's something you need to see," said Min, the communications officer. His face looked pale. "What is it?" "We've picked up a ship. A big one. And it's not one of ours." Hannah's heart raced. First contact. After decades of searching the stars, another intelligent species had found them. Within hours, the whole colony was buzzing with the news. The alien ship had sent a message in perfect English. "Greetings, Earthborn. We are the Vorax. We come in peace and friendship." 3 days later, Hannah stood with Jun and the colony's other leaders as the first Vorax delegation stepped through the airlock. The aliens were tall and slender with smooth blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. They had 4 arms and large, dark eyes that didn't blink. Their leader stepped forward. "I am Delegate Prim. We have observed your colony efforts with great interest." "Welcome to Proxima Colony," Hannah said, trying to keep her voice steady. "We're honored to be the first humans to meet another intelligent species." The Vorax offered technology, knowledge, and help with the colony's development. They seemed perfect, too perfect, Jun thought. While others celebrated, Jun went back to his work. The water pumps still needed fixing, and now the air purifiers were acting up too. As he examined the broken machinery, he noticed something strange. Tiny marks that looked like teeth marks on the metal. A week after the Vorax arrived, Jun found something in the water purification system. It was tiny, smaller than a grain of rice, but it was clearly artificial. Under his microscope, it looked like a tiny machine. He took his findings to Hannah right away. "I think the Vorax might be sabotaging us," Jun said, showing her the tiny device. Hannah frowned. "That's a serious accusation, Jun. The Vorax have been nothing but helpful." "Then what is this thing doing in our water system? It's not human-made." Before Hannah could answer, her tablet chimed with an emergency alert. The Eastern Agricultural Dome had just lost pressure. 3 people were dead. As alarms blared across the colony, Jun looked out the window. He could see the Vorax ship hovering in the distance, silent and watchful. "I hope I'm wrong," he said quietly, "but I don't think those are our friends up there." Hannah's face hardened as she read the damage reports pouring in. "I think you better keep that little machine safe, Jun, and keep looking for more." Outside, the red dust of Proxima Centauri continued to swirl, but now it seemed less like home and more like a trap. 2 weeks after the Vorax arrived, Jun couldn't sleep. Reports of equipment failures came in hourly. The tiny machine he found wasn't the only one. His team had discovered dozens more hidden throughout the colony's systems. His communication pad buzzed. It was Hannah. "Jun, check the news feed from Earth. Now." Jun pulled up the screen. The headline made his stomach drop. "Mars colony reports critical life support failure. 200 dead." "That's not all," Hannah said, her voice tight. "Europa Station and Titan Base are reporting similar problems. Systems failing with no clear cause." June's mind raced. It's happening everywhere the Vorax have visited. They're at all our colonies now. They came with offers of help just days before the failures started. The next morning, 3 Vorax engineers arrived at June's workshop. Their leader, who called himself Tech Specialist Yulo, smiled with too many teeth. "We understand you are having difficulties with your systems," Yulo said. "We have much experience with such problems. We will help." June forced a smile. "Thank you, but my team can handle it." "We insist," Yulo said, the smile never leaving his face. "Your administrator Park has approved our assistance." June had no choice but to let them in. He watched as they moved through his workshop, touching equipment, examining blueprints. He noticed how they lingered near the most critical systems. That night, June met Hannah in secret, away from the colony's main buildings where they might be overheard. "I had to let them help," Hannah explained. "Earth Command ordered it. They think the Vorax technology is our only hope." "Earth Command doesn't see what we see," June said. "I've been tracking the failures. They're too perfect, too targeted. It's like someone knows exactly where to hit us to cause the most damage without making it look like an attack." Hannah nodded. "I've noticed something else. The Vorax are mapping our resources. They seem very interested in our mining operations." A young engineer named Sung Lee joined their secret meeting. Sung worked in the communications center and had news. "I intercepted a transmission from the Vorax ship," Sung said. "I couldn't understand most of it, but they mentioned something called Phase 2 starting next week." "Did you tell anyone else?" Jim asked. Sung shook his head. "I wanted to, but," he pulled out a small device. "I found this under my desk. It was recording everything I said." June examined it. It was similar to the machines he'd found in the water system, but designed for surveillance. "They're watching us," Hannah said quietly. 3 days later, disaster struck. The main oxygen plant exploded. 30 people died instantly. The Vorax were the first to offer help, bringing their own air purifiers to replace the destroyed human ones. "How fortunate you have us here," Delegate Prim told the colony's emergency council. "Without our help, many more would have died." June noticed how no Vorax had been near the oxygen plant when it exploded. Later, while examining the remains of the plant, June found more of the tiny machines. These ones were different, designed to cause a specific failure in the oxygen recyclers. That night, June showed his findings to Hannah and Sung. "This is proof," he said. "They're sabotaging us, making it look like accidents, so we'll depend on their technology." "But why?" Sung asked. "What do they want?" Hannah looked grim. "Our planets. Our resources. They don't want to help us colonize space. They want to take what we've built." "We need to warn Earth," Jun said. "They won't believe us," Hannah replied. "Not without more proof." Outside, the lights of the Vorax ship glowed in the night sky. More of their ships were arriving every day, all offering help to the struggling human colonies. "We're running out of time," Jun said, looking up at the alien vessels. "Whatever Phase 2 is, I don't think we want to find out." Jun, Hannah, and Sung worked in secret. They turned a small storage room into their hidden lab, away from the Vorax's watching eyes. Here, they studied the tiny machines they had collected. "Look at this," Sung said one night, pointing to his screen. "When I send out this radio frequency, the machines react." June watched as the tiny devices vibrated when Sung played the signal. "Can we use this to find more of them?" "Better," Sung said with a smile. "I think we can shut them down." Outside their secret lab, things were getting worse. 2 more sections of the colony had failed. The farm domes were dying. People were scared. More Vorax ships arrived each day, bringing replacement parts that only they could fix. "We're becoming dependent on them," Hannah said, just as they planned. That morning, Hannah had been called to meet with Delegate Prim. She told June and Sung about it when she returned to their hidden lab. "They don't even try to hide it anymore," she said, her voice shaking with anger. Prim told me that humans are inefficient colonizers and that we should accept Vorax leadership. Did he admit they're causing the failures? June asked. Hana shook her head. Not directly. He said humans lack the capacity to maintain complex systems in space. He offered to save our colony by bringing in Vorax settlers. Some looked up from his work. I've been monitoring their ship communications. I've translated more of their language. His face was pale. They don't just want our colonies. They think we're taking planets they deserve. They call us unworthy space vermin. June's hands tightened into fists. So instead of fighting us directly, they're making it look like we can't survive in space without their help. It's working, Hana said. Earth Command is considering giving the Vorax control of the Mars colony in exchange for their help. Sung had been working on one of the sabotage devices while they talked. Now he looked up excited. I figured it out. These machines are programmed to destroy specific parts of our systems, but they're controlled by a signal from the Vorax ships. Can you block the signal? Joan asked. Better, Sung said. I think I can take control of them. The next day, while most of the colony slept, the three friends put their plan into action. Sung had built a device to capture and control the Vorax machines. June planted it near the colony's main power core, where they had found clusters of the sabotage devices. But they weren't careful enough. A Vorax engineer spotted June as he was leaving. Human, what are you doing here? The alien asked, all four arms reaching toward June. June didn't answer. He ran. Back at their secret lab, Hana was packing information chips with all their evidence. I have a friend on the supply ship leaving for Earth tomorrow, she explained. She'll get this to people who will listen. Sung's device was working. On his screen, they could see hundreds of tiny dots lighting up throughout the colony map. Each dot was a Vorax sabotage machine. There are thousands of them, Jum said in shock. They're everywhere. Suddenly, alarms blared. The door to their lab shook as someone pounded on it. Engineer Kim, came the voice of Delegate Prim. Open this door immediately. Hana grabbed the information chips and slipped them into her pocket. Sung quickly sent the data to a hidden server. June erased their computers. They found us, Jun said. Too soon, Hana whispered. Phase 2 must be starting. The door shook harder. Metal began to bend. What do we do now? Sung asked, fear in his eyes. June looked at his friends, then at the small device they had built to control the sabotage machines. An idea formed in his mind. We fight back, he said, with their own weapons. As the door to their secret lab began to break, Jun grabbed Sung's device and pressed the button they had been afraid to use. Immediately, all the lights in the colony went out. What did you do? Hana whispered in the darkness. I sent a shutdown signal to all the Vorax machines, Jun replied, including the ones in their own systems. The pounding on the door stopped. In the sudden quiet, they heard confused shouts from the Vorax in the hallway. Their portable systems are connected to the same network, Sung said with a smile in his voice. They're blind too. Using the confusion, the three friends escaped through an air vent Jun had prepared as a backup exit. They made it to the landing pad just as the emergency lights came back on. The supply ship to Earth was preparing to leave. Hana's friend, a pilot named Quan, was waiting. Hurry, Quan said. The Vorax are checking all outgoing ships. Hana handed over the information chips. Make sure these get to Admiral Yoon directly. No one else. As the ship took off, Vorax guards rushed onto the landing pad, but they were too late. 3 weeks later, Jun, Hana, and Sung were hiding in an abandoned mining tunnel. They had become fugitives in their own colony. The Vorax had told everyone they were dangerous saboteurs. Do you think Quan made it to Earth? Sung asked. Before anyone could answer, their hidden radio crackled to life. Proxima Colony, this is Admiral Yoon of Earth Fleet. We have received your evidence and are responding. Stand by. Hope filled Jun's heart for the first time in weeks. Earth had listened. The next day, 5 Earth battleships appeared in orbit around Proxima Centauri. The Vorax ships moved to intercept them. From their hiding place, June, Hana, and Sung watched the colony screens as Admiral Yoon addressed all human colonies. Citizens of Earth's colonies, we have discovered the truth about the Vorax. They are not allies but invaders using sabotage instead of open war. Their technology is advanced, but we will not surrender our colonies. The Admiral's face was grim. However, we must be honest. Our weapons cannot match theirs. Attempting direct conflict would result in massive human casualties. The friends looked at each other in dismay. Then what's the plan? Sung whispered. On screen, Admiral Yoon continued. Instead of conventional warfare, we are initiating Project Phoenix. All colonies will immediately begin evacuation of non-essential personnel. Each colony will maintain a volunteer team of engineers to implement the Phoenix protocols. June's communication pad buzzed with a classified message from Earth Command. He read it quickly, his eyes widening. They want me to lead the Phoenix team here, he told the others. They're sending special equipment on stealth ships. What is Project Phoenix? Hana asked. June read further in the message. It says here it's a new kind of adaptive technology, something that can evolve faster than the Vorax can sabotage it. 2 days later, a small unmarked ship landed in a remote area of the colony. When the 3 friends reached it, they found an older man waiting for them. I'm Engineer Da-Yoon from Earth, he said. I'm here to help you build something the Vorax can't stop. He opened a case to reveal strange-looking components, unlike any technology Jun had seen before. This doesn't look like conventional engineering, Jun said, examining the parts. Day smiled. It's not. Conventional won't work against them. We need something that adapts, evolves, and learns from every attack. Something that gets stronger every time they try to break it. Is that even possible? Sung asked. Alone, no, Day replied. But I've read about your work with the Vorax machines. Together, I think we can build something they've never seen before. As they spoke, more Vorax ships appeared in the sky above the colony. Phase 2 had begun. The real war for humanity's future was about to start. The abandoned mining facility became their workshop. Engineer Da had brought crates of equipment from Earth. June, Hana, Sung, and a few trusted engineers worked day and night, while the Vorax took more control of the colony above them. This is the heart of Phoenix, Day explained, showing them a small device that glowed with a soft blue light. It's based on an idea from nature. Adaptation. June examined the device. How does it work? It learns, Da said simply. Every time it fails, it records why and changes itself. It never makes the same mistake twice. A young engineer named Mai arrived from the Europa colony with more equipment. She had worked on the theory behind Phoenix. We borrowed the idea from human DNA, Mai explained as she helped set up the lab. Living things change over generations to survive. We built machines that can do the same thing, but much faster. Above them, the situation grew worse. The Vorax had declared a safety emergency and taken control of all colony functions. Humans who resisted disappeared. Hana received secret reports from those still inside the colony. They're replacing our technology piece by piece, she told the team. Soon nothing will work without Vorax permission. We need to hurry, Jun said. Building Phoenix wasn't easy. The first 3 prototypes failed completely. The 4th worked for an hour before falling apart. The 5th lasted a day. This isn't working fast enough, Jun said after another failure. The Vorax are moving too quickly. Day remained calm. Each failure teaches us something. Look at the data. June studied the screens. Each failed Phoenix unit had recorded everything about its breakdown. Each new version avoided the old mistakes. We're getting closer, Mai said, pointing to the charts. Version 6 lasted twice as long as version 5. One night, while the others slept, June had an idea. He took apart one of the captured Vorax sabotage machines and studied its core. "Wake up," he shouted the next morning. "I know what we're missing." The team gathered around as June explained. "The Vorax machines are smart in their own way. They adapt to our defenses. What if we combine their technology with Phoenix? Use the enemy's weapons against them?" Some asked. "Exactly," June said. "Meh. Can you program Phoenix to absorb Vorax tech and learn from it?" Mai thought for a moment. "Yes, but it's risky. Phoenix might become too much like them." "We need a control system," Daz said. "Something to keep Phoenix loyal to human needs." Hana, who had been quiet, stepped forward. "What makes humans different from Vorax? We care about each other. We build to protect, not just to control." "So Phoenix needs to understand that purpose," Jun said. They worked for 2 more weeks. Version 10 of Phoenix looked nothing like the earlier models. It had a core of Earth technology, but could absorb and learn from Vorax machines. Most importantly, it was programmed with a simple rule: protect human life. The day came to test it. A small team led by Sung snuck into the colony to place Phoenix units near critical systems the Vorax had taken over. Hours passed with no word. Finally, Sung's voice came over the radio. "It's working. Phoenix is neutralizing their sabotage machines and taking control of our systems again." The celebration was short-lived. Alarms blared in their hidden workshop. "Proximity alert," Nai called out. "Something's coming down the main tunnel." The workshop door shuddered under a heavy impact. Then again. "The Vorax found us," Dai said. June looked at their work. 10 generations of Phoenix units, each better than the last. Would it be enough? The door began to give way. "Get the latest Phoenix prototype," Jun ordered. "We need to protect it at all costs." Nai grabbed the unit as the door finally broke open. 4 Vorax soldiers entered, weapons raised. Behind them stood Delegate Prim, his smooth face showing no emotion. "Engineer Kim," he said, "you have something that belongs to us. Hand over your device," Delegate Prim said, stepping closer to the team. "Your primitive attempts to fight us are pointless." June moved to stand between Prim and May, who held the Phoenix prototype. "This isn't yours. We built it." Prim made a sound like cold laughter. "Using our technology that you stole. Did you think we wouldn't notice?" Before anyone could respond, the lights in the workshop flickered. Then all the Vorax soldiers' weapons shut down at once. "What's happening?" Da whispered. Through the open door came Sung, holding a small controller. Behind him stood several colony security officers who had remained loyal to Hana. "Phoenix is working," Sung said with a grin. "The units we placed in the colony are shutting down Vorax tech throughout the system." The Vorax soldiers looked at their dead weapons in confusion. Delegate Prim's smooth face showed the first emotion Jun had ever seen on a Vorax: fear. "Take them away," Hana ordered the security team. "Lock them in the holding cells." As the Vorax were led away, Sung explained what had happened. "The Phoenix units we installed started small, targeting minor Vorax systems, but they learned and spread faster than we expected. They're taking back the whole colony's infrastructure." "This is just one colony," Daz said. "There are dozens more under Vorax control." "Then we need to spread Phoenix to all of them," Jun said. 3 days later, an Earth military transport arrived at Proxima Colony. Phoenix units were loaded aboard, bound for Ta City E, the next nearest human settlement. Jun, Nai, and Sung went with them to oversee the installation. Hana and Dai stayed behind to secure Proxima Colony. Ta City was in worse shape than Proxima. The Vorax had almost complete control. The remaining humans lived like prisoners in their own colony. "We need to be careful," the colony's chief engineer told them when they arrived in secret. "The Vorax monitor everything." Jun and his team worked quickly, installing Phoenix units at key points around the colony. For the first 2 days, everything went perfectly. The Phoenix machines quietly spread through the colony systems, learning and adapting to Vorax technology. On the third day, alarms sounded. The Vorax had discovered one of the Phoenix units. They're adapting faster than we expected, Mai said, watching the data on her screen. They've modified their systems to detect Phoenix. Some worked frantically at his computer. Phoenix is adapting too, but it needs more time. The team watched anxiously as their screens showed Phoenix units being discovered and destroyed one by one. The Vorax were winning. We're losing them too fast, Jun said. Phoenix can't learn if all the units are destroyed. Mai had an idea. What if we let one unit absorb all the knowledge from the others before they're destroyed? A central brain that can learn from every failure. Working through the night, they built a special Phoenix unit with extra memory and processing power. As each field unit faced destruction, it sent its data to this master unit. It's working, Sung said the next morning. The master unit is evolving faster than the Vorax can adapt. But the Vorax weren't giving up. They landed a massive warship above the colony, something they had never shown humans before. They're bringing in new weapons, the colony's communication officer reported. Technology we've never seen. A beam of energy shot from the warship, cutting through the colony's shields like they weren't there. It hit exactly where the Master Phoenix unit was hidden. Alarms blared as systems failed throughout the colony. The screens went dark. We've lost everything, Mai said in horror. Jun checked his portable scanner. All Phoenix signals had disappeared. They found a way to destroy it completely, he said, his voice hollow. As smoke filled the damaged section of the colony, Sung's communication pad suddenly lit up with a message. Jun, look. Jun read the screen, and a slow smile spread across his face. Phoenix sent out a final transmission before it was destroyed, he said. It sent everything it learned back to Proxima. Is that enough? Mai asked. Jun nodded. Phoenix just told us exactly how the Vorax defeated it. Now we can build something they can't beat. Back on Proxima Colony, Dai and Hannah received the data from the destroyed Phoenix unit. They called an emergency meeting with Earth Command. The Vorax destroyed our prototype, Jun explained through the video link. But we learned something important. The Phoenix units can't fight alone. Admiral Yoon's face looked grim on the screen. The Vorax are attacking all our colonies now. We're losing ground everywhere. We need to change our approach, Jun said. Instead of separate units, we need a connected system that thinks together. A young engineer named Jin stepped forward. Jin had been quiet until now, working alone on communication systems. I may have a solution, Jin said. I've been studying Vorax communication tech. They use quantum entanglement to stay connected across space. Can we use that technology? Dai asked. Jin nodded. I've built a prototype. If we install it in Phoenix units, they can talk to each other instantly, no matter how far apart they are. 3 weeks later, a new generation of Phoenix units was ready. Each one looked different, designed for specific tasks. Some were built to protect power systems, others for life support, others for defense. But inside, they all shared the same core technology and Jin's communication system. This is Phoenix Fleet, Jun announced to the colony leaders. Each unit specializes in different areas, but shares knowledge with all the others. When one learns something, they all learn it. The first test came when Vorax ships appeared above Mars colony. They expected weak human defenses. Instead, they found Phoenix units waiting for them. As the Vorax deployed their sabotage machines, the Phoenix fleet responded instantly. When the Vorax attacked one system, all Phoenix units learned the attack pattern immediately. It's working, Mai shouted as she watched the data from Mars. The Phoenix fleet is adapting faster than the Vorax can attack. The news spread quickly. For the first time, a human colony had successfully defended itself against a Vorax attack. Hannah used this victory to reach out to other alien species. The Vorax have been attacking your worlds too, she told representatives from 3 different species. They aren't just targeting humans. Why should we trust you? Asked a representative from the Lentari, a peaceful trading species. Hana showed them the evidence they had gathered. Because we found a way to stop them, and we're willing to share it. Meanwhile, Jin made an important discovery. The Phoenix fleet doesn't just defend, they explain to June. It's learning how the Vorax think and predict what they'll do next. Sung looked concerned. Is it becoming too much like them? No, Jin said. The core programming still follows human values. It protects rather than controls. When the Vorax launched a massive attack on Europa Station, they found their weapons suddenly failing. Their ships lost power. Their communication systems went silent. Phoenix fleet has gone beyond defense, Da said in amazement. It's actively countering Vorax technology. Word of the Phoenix fleet's success reached the Vorax homeworld. Their leaders had never expected such resistance from space vermin. They called an emergency council meeting. On Earth, Admiral Yoon announced the first official victory against the Vorax. We have reclaimed 5 colonies, he told the world. The Phoenix fleet is growing and learning with each encounter. June watched the announcement with his friends. After months of hard work and loss, they finally had hope. The Vorax thought we would be easy to defeat, Hana said. They didn't understand human engineers. We keep building, keep improving, Dai added. That's what humans do. Suddenly, all their communication screens lit up with an urgent message. The Phoenix fleet had detected something new. A massive Vorax armada gathering near Jupiter. They're not giving up, Jun said. They're coming back with everything they have. Mai looked at the data and frowned. This is different. The Vorax are changing their approach. They're not trying to sabotage us anymore. What are they doing? Sung asked. They're preparing for open war, Mai replied. And I don't think Phoenix fleet is ready for that. Earth Command gathered all their top engineers for an emergency meeting. Admiral Yoon showed them images of the Vorax armada near Jupiter. Our defenses will not hold against direct attack, the Admiral said. The Phoenix fleet was designed to counter sabotage, not open warfare. June studied the images. We need to change our strategy. We've been playing defense. Maybe it's time to attack. Attack. Da looked shocked. The Vorax ships outgun us 10-1. Not with weapons, June explained. With Phoenix, it's learned enough about Vorax technology to infiltrate their systems. The room fell silent. Using Phoenix as a weapon was a big step. That crosses a line, Da said finally. Phoenix was built to protect, not destroy. Hana, who had been quiet, spoke up. What if we don't destroy? What if we just demonstrate? 3 days later, Joan presented their plan to Earth Command. Phoenix would be reprogrammed for a limited offensive capability. It would target the Vorax fleet's weapons and engines, but not life support or other critical systems. This is a show of force, Joan explained, to bring them to the negotiating table. Not everyone agreed. Some wanted to use Phoenix to destroy the Vorax completely. Others feared giving Phoenix that much power. What happens if Phoenix decides humans are the problem? One scientist asked. Its core programming won't allow that. Mai assured them. It exists to protect human life, not end any life. Earth Command approved the plan with strict limits. The Phoenix fleet would disable the Vorax armada, but not destroy it. A message would be sent offering peace talks. The day of the operation, tension filled the control room. June, Hana, Sung, Mi, Jin, and Da watched as the Phoenix units activated their offensive protocols for the first time. Phoenix fleet is connecting to all units, Jin reported. Quantum communication stable. Target lock on Vorax fleet, Sung added. All 287 ships identified. June took a deep breath and gave the order. Phoenix fleet, execute operation demonstration. For 30 seconds, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the Vorax ships went dark. Their weapons powered down. Their engines stopped. Their communications fell silent. It worked. Nye said in amazement. Phoenix has control of their fleet. In every human colony across the solar system, people watched as the mighty Vorac's armada floated powerless in space. Sending message to Vorac's High Command, Hannah announced. She read the message aloud. Your fleet is under our control. We choose not to destroy it. We invite you to peace talks as equals. For 3 days, there was no response. The Vorac ships remained dark, maintained on minimal life support by Phoenix. Then a single message arrived from the Vorac's homeworld. We will talk. 2 weeks later, a neutral meeting site was prepared on Europa. Representatives from Earth and the Voracs would meet face to face, along with observers from other alien species. The night before the talks, Jum found Dad alone in the observation room, looking out at Jupiter. Are you still worried about what we did? June asked. Day sighed. I helped build Phoenix to save lives, not to control others, even if they are our enemies. We didn't destroy them, June pointed out. We showed mercy. And what happens next time, when Phoenix is even more powerful? Dad looked at June with concern. Every tool can become a weapon, June. June had no answer. He knew Dai was right to worry. Phoenix was growing beyond what any of them had imagined. The next morning, as the peace talks began, a surprising message came from Phoenix itself. It had analyzed Vorac's communication data and made a discovery. The Vorac's homeworld is dying, Jin reported, reading Phoenix's findings. Their resources are nearly gone. They need new planets to survive. Hannah looked up from the reports. They're desperate, not just conquering for power. Does that excuse what they did? Sung asked. No, Jun said, but it helps us understand why, and maybe find a solution that works for everyone. As the Earth delegation entered the meeting room, Jun realized this wasn't just about winning a war anymore. It was about what kind of future humanity wanted to build. The meeting room on Europa was tense. On one side sat the human delegation led by Admiral Yoon, with June, Hannah, and Dai as advisors. On the other side sat 5 Vorax leaders, including the High Commander. Between them stood representatives from 3 other alien species who had agreed to serve as neutral witnesses. You have shown great power, the Vorax High Commander began. We did not believe humans capable of such technology. Admiral Yoon's face remained stern. We built it because you gave us no choice. You attacked our colonies through sabotage, instead of facing us directly. The High Commander's 4 arms moved in what seemed like a gesture of admission. Direct conflict wastes resources. Resources our people desperately need. June stepped forward. Phoenix analyzed your communications. We know your homeworld is dying. Is that why you targeted our colonies? For a moment, the Vorax leader seemed surprised. Then he nodded slowly. Our star is failing. In 50 years, our planet will be too cold to support life. We need new worlds. So you decided to take ours, Hannah said. We saw your species as inefficient. You claim planets but develop them slowly. The High Commander's voice held no apology. We need those worlds to survive. The talks continued for 3 days. The Vorax demanded half of Earth's colonies. Earth refused to give up any. Both sides threatened to walk away. On the 4th day, Nemai and Jin requested to speak to the human delegation privately. Phoenix has been running simulations, Mai explained, showing them data on her tablet. It's found a solution that might work for both sides. Jin pointed to star charts. There are planets neither of us have claimed yet. With Vorax technology and Phoenix assistance, they could be made habitable faster than either species could do alone. You want us to help them? Admiral Yoon asked in disbelief. After everything they did. We want to survive, Jun said simply. Both our species. When they returned to the meeting, Hannah presented the new proposal. Earth would keep all its colonies. The Vorax would keep theirs. But they would work together to develop new worlds that neither had claimed. Phoenix can coordinate the effort, she explained. It understands both our technologies now. "And why would we trust you?" the Vorax diplomat asked. "Because Phoenix will ensure neither side can betray the other," Jun replied. "It will monitor all technology used in the joint colonies." The Vorax leaders spoke among themselves in their own language. Finally, the High Commander turned back to the humans. "We accept this proposal, with conditions. Our scientists must be given access to Phoenix technology." Now it was Earth's turn to hesitate. Sharing Phoenix could be dangerous. Day, who had been quiet throughout the talks, finally spoke. "Limited access only. Phoenix was built to protect human life, but it can be programmed to protect Vorax life too." 2 months later, the first joint colony project began on a planet circling Epsilon Eridani. Vorax and human engineers worked side by side, supervised by Phoenix units that acted as translators and mediators. It wasn't always easy. Centuries of different approaches to engineering caused many arguments, but slowly the colony took shape. 1 year after the peace agreement, Jun stood with Hannah on a hill overlooking the new settlement. Human and Vorax buildings stood side by side. In the center was the Phoenix hub, ensuring cooperation between the two species. "Do you think it will last?" Hannah asked. Jun watched as a group of human and Vorax children played together near the colony school. "I think it has to. Neither of us could have built this alone." In orbit above the planet, Earth and Vorax ships patrolled together, protected by Phoenix systems that were now programmed to safeguard both species. "Phoenix changed everything," Day said, joining them on the hill. "But it was human wisdom that turned an enemy into a partner." Some in May arrived with news from Earth. They're expanding the program. 3 more joint colonies are planned, and 2 other alien species have asked to join. Jin pointed to the Phoenix hub in the center of the colony. Phoenix is already adapting to include their technologies and needs. As the sun set over humanity's newest home, Jun thought about how far they had come. From sabotage to partnership, from enemies to allies. "They thought they could stop us," he said quietly. "They didn't understand that humans don't just build machines. We build futures," Hannah finished for him. Above them, the stars shined with possibility, no longer a battlefield, but a frontier for all.